I always do.
Good evening, everybody. I am ready to call the meeting of the City Council for, what is this, October the 14th, to order. And Marcy, would you call roll, please?
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, before we continue on, I want to just acknowledge that this is a special meeting. We don't always see all of these entities together, and we're going to have a joint meeting with Audrain County. I want to thank everybody for coming. We have the County Commission here, we have Public Health here, we have Mr. Dubois Brady from Boone Health, and I think, and I'm also seeing some other people from different, like the school board and other people who are here, but I want to welcome also our Facebook audience and hope you understand that this is a very unique and even historical meeting for Mexico and Audrain County. So with that, I'm going to give Mr. Winders a turn to call his meeting to order.
Thank you, Mayor. We need a motion to call the special meeting of the Audrain County Commission to order on October 14th.
I would like to make that motion.
Motion's been made. Is there a second? Yes. Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call roll.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Commissioner Winders.
Aye.
Commissioner Graham.
We are now in open session.
Okay, well, we're ready to go back to our agenda, and before we do anything with our hospital document, we have a presentation, and Mr. Schlegel, will you introduce that, please?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you very much. This evening, we're going to do a promotional video that has been produced for our community. This was produced by Evan Brace, that has been paid for by Progress Mexico, Audrain County, and the City of Mexico. And it's only about 3-4 minutes long, but this will be kind of our new promotional opportunity to sell our community. We'll be using this economic development opportunities and different things, and so we thought tonight might be a good opportunity for the premiere viewing of our new promotional community video. So, having that said, Patrick, would you please?
Welcome to a place where the roots of American history run deep. Where you find the warmth of small town living. Where the spirit of community shines brightest. Where new businesses are thriving. And opportunities are expanding. Where unity is our strength. Where community means being a part of something bigger. Where dreams are nurtured and success is shared. Where hard work and heart go hand in hand. Where your future feels like home. Welcome to Mexico, Missouri.
All right, thank you, Patrick. Now, we hope that with some action we're going to take tonight, and a little more time, that we'll be showcasing a hospital up there before long.
Okay, great. Okay, then We are ready to move on to the part where we are going to do the document for the Government Healthcare Committee. Mr. Schlegel, you want to talk about that?
Certainly. I will start, and we'll give each of our partners an opportunity to speak as well. But to give you some background, as we know, Noble Health Audrain Hospital, previously known as the Audrain Medical Center, ceased all hospital operations in Mexico on March 22nd, 2022. The ownership of the hospital over the following 2 years transferred to at least 4 different ownership groups, all stating an intent to reopen the facility. None of the preceding hospital ownership groups were successful in their plans to reopen the hospital, and the property proceeded in a bankruptcy foreclosure sale. The city recognized the importance of having access to general acute care hospital facility in the community, and therefore the city, in cooperation with Audrain County Public Health Department, created the Government Healthcare Committee and hired the Forvis Group to conduct a healthcare study to identify a sustainable healthcare service model. The study, completed in September of 2023, provided an independent marketing assessment and financial feasibility, which determined that a critical access hospital is feasible and a viable option for Mexico. In early 2024, the Government Healthcare Committee began meeting with known and proven healthcare systems to gather information and gauge the level of interest in establishing a critical access hospital in Mexico. Boone Health of Columbia, Missouri indicated a strong interest and entered into a non-disclosure agreement with the Government Healthcare Committee in April of 2024 to begin evaluating the logistics of building a new hospital in Mexico. Boone Health has a strong reputation, known for providing quality medical care, and referral patterns from our community to Boone Health have been in place for decades. A joint effort between Audrain County, City of Mexico, and the Audrain Community Hospital Foundation resulted in the purchase of the old hospital facilities during the foreclosure sale on July 25th, 2024. The purchase was intended to control urban blight, control the site for future redevelopment, and possibly locate a new community hospital. The Government Healthcare Committee is in full support of eliminating obstacles and clearing the path that will best position our community to secure a hospital operator that is committed to delivering health care for years to come. Now the parties of Audrain County, City of Mexico, Audrain County Public Health, and CH Allied Services, Inc., a Missouri nonprofit corporation doing business as Boone Health, desire to enter into a letter of intent to begin a period of exclusive discussions. The parties intend to conduct exclusive additional due diligence discussions and negotiations regarding a proposed transaction that would establish a facility that is anticipated to be or become a Medicare-certified critical access hospital, providing emergency and related services in Mexico, Missouri. As a part of the exploratory due diligence being conducted by the parties, CH Allied Services, Inc. will, at its cost and expense, conduct preliminary financial modeling to determine the feasibility of the proposed transaction. The purpose of this preliminary feasibility analysis is to determine a reasonable estimate of the anticipated revenues, expenses associated with hospital operations, in order to develop the parameters for the size of the hospital, the services to be provided, the amount of bond financing debt that could be supported through operating lease structure. The parties acknowledge and agree that the site of the previously operated Audrain Medical Center is an acceptable location, subject to environmental survey and project feasibility. CH Allied Services, Inc., operating as Boone Health, has been providing health care to Mid-Missouri for more than 100 years, and Boone Health was recently recognized as one of America's best 100 hospitals, the only hospital recognized in Missouri. Boone Health is a mid-Missouri healthcare network that provides progressive healthcare programs, services, and technology to residents in 26 mid-Missouri counties. Except as to the extent required by law, the parties will not make direct or indirect any public comment with respect to the exclusive discussions and or negotiations regarding the proposed transaction to establish the hospital facility in Mexico until such time a definitive written agreement with mutual determination is going to be proposed. Except as otherwise agreed in writing, each party will be responsible for its own costs and expenses incurred at any time in connection with pursuit to conduct due diligence regarding the project feasibility. As city manager, I certainly want to thank our partners, Audrain County, Audrain County Public Health, and certainly Boone Health for this opportunity to move this project forward. And at this time, I'll call on Alan Winters, with the presiding county commissioner, to have any comments that he may have regarding the same.
Thank you, Bruce, but I think you used up almost all the comments. That was very thorough and really good background. This is really an exciting day. It's an exciting day in Mexico, Missouri. It's an exciting day for Audrain County. How exciting is it that we're talking about the healthcare provider that is actually a healthcare provider? You know that, and we're so excited to be talking to not only a healthcare provider that's actually a healthcare provider, but one of the quality of Boone Health, and one who, from my perspective, the marriage or the annexation or the partnership between this facility here in Audrain County and what they have in Boone County seems like a natural fit to me, and seems like it will benefit all parties involved. I want to echo what Bruce said about partners. Certainly, the partnership with the Audrain County Public Health Department, the City of Mexico, and Audrain County is the most visible part of it. And I couldn't be prouder to be a part of a consortium like that, whose focus is on bringing sustainable health care back to people in Audrain County. But there are other partners as well. Certainly, the Chamber of Commerce has worked on health care for years now, literally, and there was a healthcare coalition. I see Mr. Decker in the audience that has worked on things, and I don't want to fail to mention the foundation. I forget the nomenclature, Barb, but the Hospital Foundation here in Audrain County. Really, it's the focus of the people of this county, the organizations of this county, that allows us to work on one thing for one customer. Our customer is the people of Audrain County, the people of Mexico, and our focus is on bringing sustainable health care. So this is an exciting day. It's a next step, and I think on behalf of the commission, we are happy to be here. I said when I retired from city management, I'll never go to another city council meeting, but here I am, and the reason is that this is that important for our community. Is my time up, Rick?
Okay. Craig Brace with the Audrain County Public Health Department, another one of our partners.
I'd like to take a moment to introduce the Audrain County Board of Health members that are here tonight. Our chair of the board, Jessica Eckern, board members Bart Wilson and Janice Dymeke, Andre Brown, and also Darla Eckers could not be here tonight. I'd also like to recognize my clinical manager, Becky Weberg. She's here tonight. Thank you for being here. On behalf of Audrain County Board of Health and Audrain County Health Department, I'm excited, I'm encouraged by the partnership that is being pursued with Boone Health to bring long-term sustainable hospital services to Audrain County and the surrounding communities. As mentioned more than a year ago, the Government Healthcare Committee engaged Forbes and BKD accounting firm to conduct a needs analysis and a feasibility study to assess the need and support of a critical access hospital. The findings were clear. Audrain County can support the establishment of a critical access hospital. The study also assessed community needs and preferences. The overwhelming preference voiced by community members was to secure a known and proven hospital operator to provide hospital services. The committee met with regional and outside hospital systems to determine their level of interest. Boone Health immediately responded with a strong commitment to pursue the possibility of a new hospital. Fast track to where we are today with the signing of the letter of intent by Boone to deepen their commitment to move closer to the reality of a new critical access hospital. It's with this continued optimism and belief that the Board of Health and Audrain County Health Department fully supports this letter of intent with Boone Health.
And now we will go to Brady Dubois, President, CEO of Boone Health, to make a few remarks as well.
Thank you. I appreciate the County Commission and the City Council for allowing us to have a few moments just to walk through where we're at with the Health Department and just share this process that we've been through. You know, we meet weekly every Tuesday to go through next steps, things we have to take care of. And the more that we meet, the more time that we spend together, and the more information we gain on this city and on this county and in this region, the more excited we are about this project. And the fact that when we look at where Mexico and Audrain County and surrounding counties can go with the opportunity to access definitive health care locally, I think from a business development standpoint, and for most importantly, a time-critical emergency room is what is absolutely needed to continue to foster the growth that is happening naturally here because of the great workforce, great education, the great home life that this community has. So for Boone, what attracts us is the fact that we have people that work at our hospital in Columbia that live here. And every day they commute to go to work. And since we started our negotiations and we started our discussions, every week I have at least 1 to 5 people ask me, when can I come work in my hometown again? So the question about, are you going to be able to find a qualified workforce and things like that, because I know that was part of that, we have them. They work today. And they want to be home. Because healthcare should be local. It should be as local as possible to offer that definitive safety net, to make sure that folks get stabilizing care, and most importantly, keep healthcare as local as possible, admissions, surgeries, looking at making sure that when they do their annual physicals and wellness, that they can get all their diagnostics here and reduce the travel time, because people are tired of traveling and they shouldn't have to. And what we're excited about is not only the people that are in this community, but how this community is growing. And we want to be a part of that today and in the future with business development and being a key leader in that as well. But we're excited about this partnership. We've got some tremendous folks that we're able to work with, and it is clear how much they care about this community, and we just want to be a part of that. And so thank you for the opportunity, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that anyone has.
I have a question for you, Mr. Dubois.
Yes, sir.
My late wife always told me when I was talking to my kids that it's not what you tell them, it's how you tell them, and my tone of voice. So please take this the way I mean it. There have been rumors and stories around Mexico for a number of years that Boone Hospital had cash problems, cash flow problems, money problems. And I'm assuming that you wouldn't be getting into this if that were the case, if the money wasn't there to afford that. Can you answer that for me?
Yeah, I think every health system, going from managed to independent, and then in the height of COVID, making that stretch, there were some bumps along the road, but most importantly, in today's world, I wouldn't have spent since the beginning of the year working to get here if I didn't think we could get this across the finish line. And most importantly, when we look at sustainment, we want to be here for decades, not just next year. So I feel very confident that we have the ability in true partnership that we can make some really great things happen here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brady. Thank you for your comments. Thank all of you for your comments. Do you want to bring your camera in and set it where you want it?
Oh, sorry, I was told to stand here.
No, you can sit back down.
You want me to sit down? You want me to be here? I'll go wherever you want me to be.
You might explain from your perspective what the signing of the letter of intent.
Yeah, so in our world, LOIs help define the framework for what we're going to work towards to get to a definitive agreement, and it provides that exclusivity for us to really be confident that we can spend the funds to do all the due diligence, to go through all the studies that have to be done, to go through the certificate of need process, to go through all of those steps to be able to start turning dirt. And so without the LOI and making sure that we have that exclusivity, nobody really wants to spend the money if you're not the exclusive partner. And so what this means is that we fully intend to execute what's in the LOI. All of us as partners, we all have a shared part in that. It's not just Boone, it's not just the county, it's not just the city, not just the health department. All of us own that, to make sure that we have agreed upon the definitive framework to work towards a definitive agreement. And once that's signed, that's when everything can start rolling. And so that's what we're excited about, is this is a very important step for us to move towards turning dirt, which is what everybody wants to see.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brady. At this point, unless there's any other comments, I'm going to the city business now, to the new business. And I'm going to call for a resolution for Bill number 2024, it is to be voted on by title only and then passage. And what this does, wait, just a minute. And what this does is, this allows, when we pass it, then it allows the city manager to legally sign for the city. So I'm calling for that resolution.
He wants to speak. Do you want to say something? That's okay. I move for the reading of Bill number 2024-58.
Second.
Hayes.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Whitmer.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Bill number 2024-58, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign a letter of intent with Audrain County Health Department, and CH Allied Services Incorporated, a Missouri nonprofit corporation doing business as Boone Health, to discuss the establishment of a Medicare-certified critical access hospital providing emergency and related services in Mexico, Missouri. I move for passage of Bill number 2024-58.
Second.
Hayes.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Whitmer.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Winters, do you want to?
Thank you, Mayor. Is there a motion on behalf of the county commission to authorize the presiding commissioner to execute the letter of intent with Boone Health and Partners already mentioned?
I will move to approve the letter of intent. Authorize the city manager to
I will second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Graham.
Aye.
Commissioner Winters.
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, we are now ready for the big time, and that will be the signing the letter of intent. And Mr. Seigel, I'm going to allow you to direct what we do next.
We will move down. We have 4 copies for each entity.
So where are we going here?
And we'll sit at the table, and we'll ask any of the board members, fellow commissioners, to please join around us, and we need 4 chairs. They can be part of this.
Do you want us to stand up for the picture, Vicki?
Right?
Tracy, don't get in my way.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna, I'll just jump him over the sand side.
Maybe shine off your head, though.
Thank all of the audience for being here today. This is really exciting. It's not Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon. Very good. You want a motion to adjourn us? Is there a motion to adjourn the special meeting of the Audrain County Commission? Motion's been made. Is there a second? Second. Motion made and seconded. All, hearing no discussion, Madam Clerk, please poll the board.
Commissioner Winters?
Aye.
Commissioner Meyer? Commissioner Graham?
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
We appreciate the opportunity to have a joint session.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate all the work that your city manager does on the community. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you. Yeah, that's not,
It's not always been that way, huh? I mean,
It won't be as long as it is.
right.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you very much.
bye-bye.
Hold on, one more. I know. Yeah, we do talk a lot.
Thank you, guys.
You received copies of the release, or would anybody else like another copy?
I think I printed one if you got one.
Anybody else like a printed one?
I'll take one. Anybody want a copy of the press
Was that your golf swing on the video? You sliced it.
Absolutely, it's a legitimate question. I am too. Mayor, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate the invite to be here.
Face to the name, how are you, sir?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
You've got a few.
Did you say that out loud?
Another little higher priority. Yeah, so the low one. That's Madison Burke and she's together as a team.
I know. Nobody cares the rest of what we do. Camera's gone.
She's good.
Even our local people laughed. I mean,
I know, it's more like normal times.
right. Yeah, we're back to normal now.
Back to normal. Okay. Okay. So we'll be seated here.
No, we gotta do it next.
Did we miss a week?
Is Rita coming to the meeting?
Why are we doing two?
Oh, I don't know.
All right, folks, we're still in session, and we are moving on to approval of the minutes.
Why are we approving two?
Go ahead, Marcy.
On the September
No, we're
9th meeting.
on 7. Approval of the September 9th regular meeting.
Are we approving them both at once, or you want to?
I want a clarification. Why are we doing both?
That's what I was asking about, gonna ask about.
Go ahead. Go ahead, yeah.
September 9th, Councilman Miller arrived at 6:36 PM and should have abstained from approving the minutes at the September 23rd meeting. Therefore, to clean it up, to make sure that there is no one that says that we didn't follow protocol, we're going to bring it back and ask Councilman Miller to abstain for the September 9th meeting. Please.
And he owes us dinner or something like that.
Thank you, Marcy.
Well, I had crisper and cookies. The other Chris.
So I need a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes for September 9th, 2024.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Abstain.
Now we'll approve the,
Make a motion to approve September 23rd, 2024 minutes.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, under new business, we have two ordinances requiring two readings by title only and passage. The first one is Bill 2024-59. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor. These two ordinances tonight that we have deal with funding for the airport. And this is, again, for the work that we've already completed. The funding is now available to reimburse us, and therefore we have to proceed with the ordinances in order to get our money back. So, to cover the details of each of these ordinances, Drew Williford.
Drew, don't be offended. Nobody gives a darn about what you're going to say till that was left.
Good evening, council. We've got two ordinances that I'll be presenting on in a single presentation, so to speak. I'm going to try to streamline as much as I can this evening because Public Works is quite a bit on the agenda. This is going to cover the reception of non-primary entitlement funds, number one, and also funds from the bipartisan infrastructure law, number two. The NPE funds will be for a reimbursement of $150,000, while the BIL funds will be for a reimbursement of $144, totaling the $294,000. This is, again, as Bruce mentioned, to reimburse work that's already been done, so the city somewhat borrowed ahead and is now in the process of reimbursing itself for these funds. You may recall the grant itself was a 90% reimbursement. We'll likely have one more reimbursement to take place with fiscal year 25 funds from the non-primary entitlement program. That'll likely be next calendar year, to be honest with you. What we're looking at tonight is authorizing so that we can replenish our own funds, and we'd recommend two readings by title only. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Man, we do a lot of runway lighting, don't we? There's a lot of lighting that we do.
We've done it. Now
I
we're
need
just
to go
getting
out and
money
look at
back.
this lighting that we do. I just never.
I make a motion to read bill number 2024-59.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2024-59, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission Amendment Number 3 relating to non-primary entitlement funding project number 22-038A-1 at the Mexico Memorial Airport. Move for second reading of bill number 2024-59.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
An ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission Amendment Number 3 relating to non-primary entitlement funding, project number 22-03A-1 at the Mexico Memorial Airport. Move for passage of bill number 2024-59.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
I move for reading bill number 2024-60.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2024-60, an ordinance authorizing city manager to execute a Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission Amendment Number 1 relating to bipartisan infrastructure law, BIL funding project number 2022-038A-1 at the Mexico Memorial Airport. I move for second reading of bill number 2024-60.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2024-60, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to execute a Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission Amendment Number 1 relating to bipartisan infrastructure law, BIL funding project number 2022-03A-1 at the Mexico Memorial Airport. I move for passage of bill number 2024-60.
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to new business, we now have three resolutions. readings by title only and passage. We'll begin with Bill 2024-61, I guess, Mr. Schlegel.
Yeah, sure. This is a resolution authorizing contract documents with MECO Architectural Engineering. This is for downtown. As Mexico enters into the Main Street program, and the downtown faces a number of issues, especially with vacant building structural issues and so on. This is to do a formal survey of the buildings and their structure. To cover more details and the bids received, once again, Drew Williford.
Well, thank you, Bruce. That was a good introduction to the topic. So to support all of that, the city put out a request for qualifications and received 3 of them back. This was advertised in the Mexico Ledger on July 24th of this year. And this project generally consists of evaluation of 97 parcels, which include 22 vacant buildings, all ranging from periods of construction from back in 1873 to even up as near as 2022. So it covers quite a wide variety of buildings. We received 3 responses to this RFQ. MECO Architectural and Engineering, LLC, out of Boonville, Missouri, was the highest scored of the 3. We did comply with the state statute for RFQs, which involves creating a scoring committee and then selecting the highest scored on the committee's list. We entered into negotiations with MECO and came up with what you see before you, which is a cost of $20,000. This includes creation of the survey that Bruce mentioned earlier, and the survey is going to be evaluating each structure for code deficiencies, structural concerns, any of those kinds of things that essentially Main Street will need and the city will need to look at as it looks at an aging downtown. I think you'll find all across the nation, cities are dealing with aging downtown infrastructure, aging downtown buildings, and so this is that first step in the process of then beginning to apply for grants that will address that aging downtown in one way or another. So we would recommend proceeding with reading and title only passage. If you have any questions about this, I'll be happy to answer them.
So what does a survey look like? Do they go into each building?
Yeah, they will have to get permission from the owner to go into each building. It's actually a licensed architect or engineer in this case that would evaluate each structure, create an inventory, and then we would get all of that back in a format where we can use it to come up with a broad plan that will kind of systematically address the downtown needs. But until we have that, we don't know what the needs are. We know that there are structures that have serious structural concerns, we can tell you that. But as far as some of the other items, code-related, internal building-related, all of that's up on the table.
So what if they say, no, you're not coming into my building?
That's certainly a possibility, and they could restrict access. That's their right. But this is part, keep in mind, of the Main Street Coalition group. And so with Main Street being active, we're hopeful that those owners will see the premise that this is supporting the initiative that they've already gotten into and have started and are well on their way with. So we're hoping this is a supplement and a support to that group.
Drew, I think that, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If I'm not misunderstanding, I think that Amy O'Brien had a whole bunch to do with this, was kind of the lead on a lot of this stuff.
You're correct.
With her not being here any longer, who's taking the lead on the whole process?
Sure. I believe you've got several people. Chad Underwriter? Chad is helping out outside. My apologies. Our new Park Department Director has been tasked with supplementing this effort until we have a new Economic Development Director, at which point in time I would anticipate, and I may be speaking out of turn, but that the new Economic Development Director would take over those duties and start pushing where Amy had been pushing forward before. And so for now, we've got a good interim in there, and Chad's doing a great job with it for good things. I understand with personnel turnover, sometimes you can have delays that occur, setbacks, but I think it's still moving in a good direction.
And I'd also comment that Rita Jackson is on the Main Street Board, so we have 2 staff members there.
Good.
So is this part of the 30,000 that's going to them, or is this an additional 20,000, or?
This was a separate issue as far as for the engineering, which we budgeted for.
What's our long-term hope, I guess, with doing this? Like making sure we have sound buildings, we want to have people, I mean, I'm sure we want people to occupy buildings and like to start a business. I guess if someone wants to buy it, they can come to us and just say, we've had architects look at it and it's sound. I mean, I guess.
I would say a part of it certainly is, to begin with, is that you're right, it's about creating a sound building, because you have to make sure you have a good foundation, so to speak, before you have anything, if you will. And so the idea is to make sure the building is structurally sound before you would ever begin, the interior type fixing of painting and carpet and so on, because it doesn't do any good to put that into the building that isn't already sound. And so this is the basis of everything to get to move everything else along in design and beautification, and hopefully the foundation to clean up our town.
And if they find something wrong, it's up to the owner to take care of that, correct?
So there's two trains of thought there. The answer could be yes, the owner could easily take care of it, but the owner probably already knows that it's wrong. But number two is, this opens the door to pursuing a community development block grant. So this is a required item for the Economic Development Department for at the state level. They would not accept your application without this survey. So there is a part of this where if you were to apply for the grant and you got it, then you can have those private owners apply for the grant from you, is the way I understand this, and then you would supplement with grant money to fix your problems in the downtown area. We would be hiring the contractors in theory, and then the owners of the building grant us access for the contractors to complete repairs using the grant funding. I hope that makes sense. That's the way I understand it, but I'm a little out of my area there.
Just a lot of things go through my mind as I own a building, I know there's something wrong, the architect says that I get grant money, and we fix it, if I haven't had an occupant in there for 20 years, what makes them think there's going to be an occupant now? And then if it gets fixed with grant money, I'm like, heck yeah, fix it with grant money, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to sell it. And I'm going to make money on it after I already got free grant money to fix the structural problems that we have.
And there is some very much possibilities of that. Now, there'll be matches necessary, so they will have to have some skin in the game in order to do it. But if you leave them set like they are, it's just going to get worse. So we have to try something to help them move this process forward.
I get it. I understand. No, I'm not against it. I'm just, things going through my head.
Well, I would add to what you're saying is, when you look at this map, just around your line here, there's plenty of buildings outside of this line. And so what do you tell those people? Well, you're one street over, sorry. I mean, how do you justify where you're at? Because some of these are definitely not down by the railroad track. That's not downtown, but they're included. But then you go one street over the other way from downtown and they're not included. And so what do you tell those people? Well, I'm sorry, it doesn't seem very, because those buildings are really old too.
Sure. Yeah, the location of that line was developed as part of the whole Main Street process, and how exactly that was developed, I'm not 100% sure with you on that one. Amy, if she was here, could easily tell you and answer that question, but there definitely was thought put into why that boundary extends so far in certain directions, and I would say that, in some areas it looks like it's outside downtown, but for sure it does encompass all of the general downtown, and then some of the areas outside of it. And as Bruce mentioned, the problem of we're going to be at a spot where we have a downtown that's well over 100 years and continuing to degrade if we don't do anything.
I'm not against it. I'm just, these are questions that are going to be asked by the public, and they're going to say, hey, why do they get this money and I'm one street over and I don't get anything?
Sure.
And then what's the answer to that? I don't know, and you don't seem to, no offense, but you don't seem to know the answer either that I should give them. And those are the kind of things they're going to be asked.
The district boundaries have been drawn, and you have to have those district boundaries in order to be within it. I mean, that's a requirement. And so that's why they've drawn the boundaries as they have. trying to be as inclusive as possible, but you're right, there's some things outside of it, but you have to identify that area. It has to be.
Are we ready?
No, I've never gotten my words in yet.
Oh, sorry. Your turn.
I'm going to, you say code violations, so what authority do they have to, when they get finished with this, as far as closing businesses because of code violations and they can't afford to fix them? As a person who owns 5 or 6 buildings in this property, I'm concerned about the authority of the people coming in and telling me, you got to do this, 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 and that, or you're out.
Yeah, the only time that we close any kind of building at all is if we see a significant health or safety risk. So we don't go close structures or buildings or businesses or any of that if it's a simple code violation. But once you get to the aspect of a structural collapse or something that is public health related, where your wastewater is just going right into your business and you're not going to do anything about it, that's when we would look at potentially having to close something. But that is not employed by the city as a general rule for issues that are far less of an issue. So if you had, I'm just trying to think of something that might be in the downtown area. Siding, for example, that might be, I'm sorry, what did you say? Electrical, yep, something on that nature. We take the approach of trying to work with the individuals on a case-by-case basis. It's in the best interest of the owner if you find out, hey, this is liable to start a fire. Did you know this was there? No. Or maybe yes. And so then you have the discussions about, well, this could be a significant safety concern. We've never had, in my time here, a case where you have an electrical code issue or a siding or anything like that come up as a case to close a business, any of that.
Well, I'm not saying necessarily you close. The person may have to close because they can afford whatever you tell us we have to do. It's not necessarily you're closing us because of, it may be you're closing us because we can't afford to do what you tell us we have to do.
Yeah, and I think what I would come back with on that is the idea of this is meant to be a violation list to support a grant. And so we're not going to be using this from the standpoint of, I would say, enforcement. Now, I would say if we were to find something where a professional architect or engineer said, do you know this is right here? This could collapse the whole building. And unfortunately, these buildings are constructed with common walls. So if that one goes, you could have a cascade effect. We might do an emergency call to the owner and say, we've got a problem. We need to talk about this and see you in the building right now. And I think that would preserve the health, safety, and welfare of the public, but it's not going to be used for example, if you've got an electrical code compliance issue, we're not going to go and close a business based on something on that nature.
A door that swings out instead of in, in instead of out.
Those kinds of things would not be used for, those are done. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to feed off what he was saying. How about, okay, so you go in and you find the code violation, say with electrical. Now it's documented that there's a code violation that's not up to code, and then it does start a fire and the person didn't take care of it and it's written down. I don't know how that would work with your insurance company if the insurance company found out you got a code you have a code violation to this electrical and there was a fire, we're not going to cover you?
Dave, do you want to comment on that?
Because one, we're in open session, and, legal advice is legal advice. It's supposed to be confidential.
Apologies.
And two, well, no.
Apologies. Yep, I'm out of line. I apologize.
Actually, change all that to a no.
That's your pleasure.
This is a survey. This is a survey.
I don't have a problem with the fact to check out structural buildings. I sure wouldn't want any of them to fall. I just have a concern about somebody coming in and assessing everything you have, your flooring, your ceiling, your wiring, your lighting, and saying, you got to remodel this entire building because of.
Yeah, that's not the intent of this. This is strictly used to support the grant. So the only time I could ever see something coming up as an enforcement item, again, would be if there's a structural concern. I think we would have to take action at that point. Or if I've mentioned the idea of wastewater or something that affects the public health, we would not be taking action for what we were discussing there.
Okay.
I mean, how deep is an architect going to dig into electricity? I mean,
At this point, this is more of a general survey to talk about slum, blight, and general conditions. So it's not by any means detailed inspection.
well, didn't that same thing happen over on the old J.C. Penney building about it was holding up the rest of the buildings or something, that something had to be done?
That was one of the buildings that the Land Clearance Redevelopment Board did purchase, and yes, we had to do some stabilization, is why we did that. And that was part of what they do, is to do some stabilization, get a roof on it, and basically get it in a condition that you can sell it. Get it back productive.
But you can always say no too, Chris. I mean, these people can say no. They don't have to have it looked at. I guess.
I'm just asking, say as a person that owns quite a few buildings downtown, concerned about what's going to happen. But you're going to buy them today, I'll sell them to you, and then I won't have to worry about it. All right, thank you.
Do I have a motion?
I move for reading of bill number 2024-61, is that right? Yep.
Yes.
Second.
Hay.
Yep.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2024-61, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with MECO Architectural and Engineering LLC for an architectural survey of the downtown district. I move for passage of bill number 2024-61.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, we are on item B, bill number 2024-62. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor, this is for a resolution authorizing to sign a contract with Flowmaster. And this is for the new concrete sidewalks, ADA requirements along Moldo Street. To cover the details of the bids, once again, Drew Williford.
Excuse me, council. This is for the first of two that are both TAP grant related through the Missouri Department of Transportation. So this would be classified as phase 2 of 3 for the sidewalk work along Muldrow. We've already done phase 1, that went from Jackson to Quisenberry. This is phase 2, Quisenberry to Buchanan. And in a moment, we'll talk about phase 3, which is Buchanan to Boulevard. So we're moving in a positive direction to get all of Muldrow fully restored with sidewalks on both sides of the road. And I'm very pleased on this particular one. We had concern that some of these costs would come back significantly over budget, and turns out we're dead set near the engineering estimate on it. So this project was advertised in the Mexico Ledger for bids. We received 3 of them. Flowmaster Construction, right here out of Mexico, Missouri, submitted the lowest and best bid for this project at $208,722.45. Again, the project includes new sidewalk and driveway approaches along Muldrow Street between Quisenberry and Buchanan. So our budget for this project, and actually for phase 3 in this fiscal year, is $418,000, and that's going to cover that $208,000 I mentioned, and then also we'll get into the design costs for Muldrow phase 3. And the city's portion for this project is covered under an 80-20 grant. So our portion would be $41,744.49. So this time, we'd recommend proceeding with reading by title only and passage. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Questions?
Make a motion to read bill number 2024-62.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2024-62, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign contract documents with Flowmaster Construction LLC for TAP 4400. I move for passage of bill number 2024-62.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Thank you all. We are now on item C, bill number 2024-63. This is also an engineering services agreement. Mr. Schlegel.
Yes, Your Honor, this is for engineering services associated with phase 3 of the Muldrow sidewalk project. Drew?
Yep. Council, Bruce mentioned, the prior one was for contracting services, and now we're at engineering services for the next phase. So this is phase 3, the last phase along Muldrow, and this will actually complete from Jackson all the way to Boulevard, completely new ADA compliant sidewalk. So to do that, we went through the process of procuring a consultant. MoDOT has a specific method by which you do that using their on-call list. We procured Engineering Surveys and Services, who is also an on-call consultant with the City of Mexico, through that process, and negotiations have proceeded well. So at this point, we have an engineering service contract for a total cost. This includes what we would call preliminary design, which would be the normal design phase services, but also construction phase services for $80,033.91. This grant is also reimbursable at an 80-20 match, so the city's cost for consultant services here would be $16,006. This is part of that $418,000 I mentioned previously, so we do have funds to proceed both with the construction from the previous one, but also design on the next phase. So we would recommend proceeding with title only and passage, and if you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Move for reading by title only with 2024-63.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Bill number 2024-63, a resolution authorizing the city manager to sign an engineering services agreement with Engineering Surveys and Services for professional services related to TAP Grant 4400-313. Move for passage of 2024-63.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, under other business, Part A, we have another staff report about software for sewer mains. Mr. Plato.
Yes, Your Honor. This is for closed caption TV software, and this is for maintaining our system used by the wastewater department so that they can look at defects within the sanitary sewer system mains to cover the details of the project. Once again, Drew Williford.
As Bruce mentioned, we actually use this system right now, that we use the Lite license, so a lot of these systems come with software. Council awarded us or approved the purchase of another transporter and camera. We use those things to actually insert them into sewer pipes and then inspect the pipe for any kind of defects. Well, that system uses a software to then tag or log those defects. So currently we use the Lite version. Upgrading to a Pro version and getting a server license allows us then to integrate them with a geographic information system and show all the defects on a map automatically. So all we need to do is run the camera down the line, and then tag where there's a defect, and it will then generate automatically a map for us for every single line showing the defects, but also showing where people's laterals are intersecting our main. This is incredibly useful for us from the standpoint of planning, not only planning defect problems, but then also planning when you know how many laterals are on a particular line without having to go out and look at and rerun the camera down the line, taking a crew with you to do so. In addition, one of the items that we're looking at is the responses to dig rights or locates. You'll see the flags and paint marked on the ground across town many different times. Well, those are used to locate underground lines. Well, we have to locate sanitary sewer, and part of that is if we know where a lateral is, we'll put a triangle on the ground. We can also, instead of putting a triangle on the ground, we can send an electronic map to satisfy the dig right law. And this would be incredibly useful for the contractors as they go about trying to find where private laterals are at, and hopefully help avoid some of the damage to laterals that has occurred when we've had larger projects come through, like boring for fiber optic line. So we would recommend proceeding here to purchase the next license up for the Pipeline Observation System Management Company, and that is at a cost of $33,000. There is going to be an annual, or anticipate an annual maintenance for that of about $6,500. And this year, we have budgeted $35,500 to cover the installation of that software and the first year of maintenance on it. So we'd recommend proceeding. Oh, I'm sorry, my apologies, staff report. We recommend approval. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Well, we have, I know going up to the cloud and doing all those fun things, will we have a hard copy of that? Let's say we don't want to use Possum in the future. So will we have our own copy of that?
We will. So it's actually not cloud-based, funny enough.
Okay.
They actually have a server that is installed here, and it's on our own system. And so we are in full control 100% of it, and it's on a standard, what they call SQL database. So that is a database that can interface with pretty well any other database out on the planet.
Okay. Is that licensed for a lifetime, that you have that? The upgrade to the Pro? We get that Pro, we have it for...
There's an annual maintenance fee that you pay, and so that annual maintenance gets you the updates, support, all of that stuff, and that's $6,500 a year that we would pay.
Okay.
Drew, have you seen this new program in operation? I mean, you see that, have you seen it here, or did you see it
Yeah, they've actually already installed it as a test for us. We haven't quite got there to using every aspect of it, but we've got to the point of we were able to map a couple years worth of defects and laterals and do that successfully. So we've got a map right now, at least of a couple years worth of data right now, which has already been pretty valuable.
Should put some of that video on our new video we made.
Show some new sewer lines, huh?
I make a motion to purchase a camera for $33,000 and a $6,500 annual fee from Possum.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, and Mr. Schlagel, you have the last thing, the staff report on a wet well pump.
Yes, Your Honor. What we have here is we have a pump that is out of service at the wastewater treatment plant that needs repairs, and to cover the details, Drew Williford.
As you may recall, we have Van de Vanter Engineering, who does our preventative maintenance work at the plant. They are the sole source provider for flight pumps, and that's the pump that went out. So they came and reviewed the pump, took it back with them, found some problems with it. Problems ranged from the actual cord itself to seals, even bearings were out. So whenever we heard that, we asked them for a cost to repair, and they provided a cost of $17,570.86. Generally speaking, for pumps, you look at a replacement of a pump once you get to about to the 75% range on a pump's cost. This is nowhere near the cost of a new pump. These are all fairly simple fixes, I believe. And so we're looking at if we can authorize it, get them authorization this week. We're looking at still a turnaround, though, of 8 to 10 weeks on getting a pump back. The good news is that this is at a location where we do have redundancy. So we have actually 4 pumps in our intermediate wet well, and so we are sitting pretty well. If we don't take action, though, and don't do something, if you have another pump go out or have a problem with something electrical, you can find yourself in an issue pretty quickly. So we are bringing it before council and requesting that we move forward with the purchase. With the budget changeover of this fiscal year, we have $80,000 that is meant for repairs to pumps and other equipment, and this would be used to cover that $17,500 roughly cost. So we'd recommend proceeding. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Did they come repair that here, or do you have to yank it out?
They already yanked it out. Most of these, you do have to yank them out and take them back and then diagnose them.
Well, thanks, Drew, for the whole meeting.
You are a valuable person.
I move for the, do we do that? Do we need that? I move for the repairs to the number 2 intermediate wet well pump for $17,570.86.
Second.
Hay.
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, motion to pay the claims?
Make a motion to pay the bills?
Second.
Hay,
Yes.
Briggs.
Yes.
Rivers.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Okay, council comments is next, and Larry, you want to start?
Sure. I think it's great, everything we did tonight on the Boone situation, hospital situation. I'm going to mention again, and I'm going to push it pretty hard over a period of time. I'll ask about it probably at every meeting after this. I think we really, really, really need to talk with our partners and get serious about tearing down that old building yesterday. And yesterday's a little exaggeration, obviously. But if we don't do that, we could have another albatross like we have with the Green Company, which looks like hell. Looks like heck. As people drive through town, and we'll have a building that's falling down, and we have a building now that's wonderful for people to break into, wonderful for homeless, I suspect, to sleep somewhere, wonderful for a whole bunch of stuff that we don't need. And even if, and I understand that the letter of intent is not binding on anything, it's not a contract, but even if it would fall through, and I certainly don't anticipate that happening, even if that would fall through, we're going to have to tear it down for somebody for something. If another provider comes along and says, hey, we'd like to do something in Mexico, but not at that location, we've still got a location that's torn down and clean, and we could use for something else, market it for something else. And I'm really going to push hard for starting that demolition.
Thank you. Chris?
I don't have much to say, except that it's just been an exciting night, and how can we have a better council meeting than maybe get a new hospital?
Yeah. Chris Williams?
I said before, I'll say again, when I first came on years ago, the city and the county didn't necessarily always go in the same direction. And so it's amazing to see everybody coming together and working together for the common good of everybody in town and putting aside any differences or what have you. So that's amazing to see, and I think it's awesome that we've got Boone coming in. I think you couldn't ask for a better partner, really. I do have two questions, though. So you mentioned AP Green. What is going, do you know anything what's going on out there? I've seen people out there doing work.
The owners, we understand it because we've been contacted, staff has, by an engineering company that is to be doing a site plan for them in order to begin looking at how they divide it up and redevelop it. So, but we've heard this a couple of other times. So, but we're keeping our fingers crossed that this was moving forward and that they're going to do something.
And then, Drew, I'm going to ask you another question already.
Well, you're not doing anything, Drew.
If I ride my bike around town, and there's some streets that are patched to heck. Is there like a level of patchiness where they have to like start considering repaving the street? Because not all these patches are the greatest patches. It's like 2 streets over, there's like 10 patches in 2 blocks. It's like crazy.
Is that Muldrow? That's MoDOT.
No, it's our street. It's no, it's the 1 street over from Liberty. I can't think what that is off the top of my head. Promenade, yeah.
So you're talking utility patches, what I guess?
I'm guessing it's utility patching.
That's done.
Some of it's concrete, some of it is asphalt patching.
Could be either one then. So as you know, we struggle with utility patching throughout town, and we've had a slew of water main breaks over just the last, what would you say, maybe 3 months perhaps. This is always a constant battle. So the way we generally look at paving, we use the AI system that we purchased, has it been a year and a half ago or so? And that provides us sort of an objective look, and it does take into account patching, but the premise of, is a roadway going to be milled and overlaid just because of patching? Generally not. We're going to generally gear our work towards failed pavement, and normally patching is not going to be failed pavement, but it does create a little bit of a rideability problem. So to answer your question, it's a little bit of a both and. So we do look at the patches. Does it trigger, you may have asked, does it trigger any mill and overlay requirements for an external company? And no, we don't have that in our ordinances at this time, that would take an ordinance, I believe, to impose that kind. You have so many patches in a particular street, you have to be the one to pave it. I'm not familiar with any cities that do, but we do look at those when we try to evaluate which roads we're going to be paving. We're actually going to have a very large asphalt paving program this year, this fiscal year. So you'll see that in the summer of 2025.
I was just curious because I was like, there's just patch after patch after patch. I'm like, at what point do they become culpable? Like, you know, I'm like, it's your stuff that keeps breaking and you're tearing up our stuff to fix it. And I understand you put a patch, but it's not the same. And it's not the same. And some of them are not the greatest patches, so.
Yeah, we do our best to try to catch that so that we can tell them, tear out the patch, this doesn't meet our standards, that kind of a thing. We do an 11-month inspection on every single patch that you see out there. And I don't know how long the program's been in place. It's been in place 8.5 years since I started. So our street division does that, and if they catch something that looks off, they usually inform us, and then we'll go out there and evaluate it. And all that time, we probably made them remove maybe a handful, half a dozen, so to speak, patches. I will say too, on a new asphalt street or a resurfaced street, there is actually a penalty in our ordinances for if you have a utility cut, no matter what the utility, on a street that's within so many years. So we do have that in there.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I will, my comments and this, Mr. Oh, got you, Coach.
Easy to forget. Stoplight on Boulevard, we heard anything?
No, we haven't. We've had a meeting with them, and I'm just going to give you my opinion. I think they've made the decision that they want it out very clearly, and I think they're trying to get support to do that, but they also know that there's a political opinion against them, so I don't think they're moving too quickly with it. But by the same token, they are proposing in their STIP to do some pavement, future paving of Muldrow and so on, and my guess would be is that's when they'll definitely probably have it in their plans is when that happens. Would you see it differently, Drew?
No, I think that's correct. That's what I would look. I think they're supposed to meet with the school systems, last I heard.
I thought us doing the sidewalks was for them to do the street. I thought that was part of the deal. Like, we were getting the sidewalks on Muldrow, and then they would come in and pave Muldrow.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that. Though I will say if they went ahead and paved Muldrow, there would be a question of who's responsible for the sidewalks. So by us doing it now, we won't be stuck with a big city bill on those sidewalks. We'll have done it through MoDOT's grant. So that'll help us. Maybe there was some discussion about that before my time. I'm not sure.
So what if we want a stoplight there and they don't, and they pull it out? What's the legality of us being able to put a stoplight there?
It becomes difficult because it's their route, and my guess would be is their comment would be is because it's an out-of-date situation, we would have to pay to upgrade it, which would be significant.
Okay, I'm going to say something, Mr. Schlegel, then you can talk, but I just wanted to, I recognize Major Stuart Thompson as a drug recognition expert, so I saw that in the paper. That looked like a nice recognition. And perhaps we can have he can come to council at some point and we can officially recognize him. Okay, Mr. Schlegel?
The only thing I would say is today was actually Columbus Day, but city offices weren't closed despite state and federal and county and banks and everything else. But anyway, the point with that made me think about that actually in 4 weeks will be Veterans Day on a Monday. So we're going to have to think about what we'll do that night. We don't have to decide tonight. I just want to make sure it's on your thought process that we'll have to ask you in a couple of weeks how we're going to adjust that meeting.
Okay, we'll do that then. All right, anybody else? Okay. It's public time for the public to speak, and we've had a long meeting. If there's anybody from the public who'd like to speak, you need to stand up, say your name, your address. You have 3 minutes, and if not, I'm going to ask for adjournment.
Second.
And thank you all for a long meeting.
Yes.
Briggs,
Yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Thank you all.